Welcome back again, Busters. It is another character riffing session with another one of my dear friends and players who will be joining us for the Azmyth Busters Fall of Plaguestone. Today, I am introducing you to Jett Boogie, and she and I are going to talk about her character. So let's start by talking about you a little bit. Any kind of background you want the world to know about, and maybe your experience playing tabletop.
I just started this year, honestly, and the campaign that I'm in is all female. The DM is new, so this is all a new experience. I would say one person in the group has experience playing, but other than that, the rest of us are very new. So
fantastic. And like one of the things that As Busters is going to really focus on, besides being cool and having great people, is giving everybody a forum. So if you've got anything that you want to promote or pimp out or talk about at any point, you know that you will have the opportunity to do so. We can link it and make you as internet famous as you want to be. So let's talk about your character concept. This is your first time playing the Pathfinder role-playing game, especially second edition. You cut your teeth on D&D 5e like so many millions of people have. And I'm interested to hear, before we talk about your character specifically, for a new player making the shift from one system to the other, what's your initial impressions? What are your thoughts of this system so far?
So far, I can see that it's a lot more robust to me, in my opinion. I can see there's a lot more choices in availability with races and classes and everything else. I mean, I'm excited because I feel like I can flesh out my character a lot more.
Nice. Achieve your vision.
Yes.
Nice. Absolutely. All right. So let's talk about your character and let's talk about your vision. You are doing a hybridized version of the character that you started in 5e. You're making some changes though, but the core entity is basically the same. Tell us about her.
Elektra, do you want me to read what I wrote down, or you just want a free
I mean, either way, if you've written it down and you're nailing it out of the park with what you wrote, sure, read it to us.
Yeah, okay. Elektra is the illegitimate child of a nobleman and an elven woman. Her mother was greatly loved by the nobleman, but unfortunately died in childbirth. So despite her legitimate status, Elektra was her father's favorite child, much to the displeasure of his wife and children. Born a cisgender man, Elektra realized early on that despite her physical form, her spirit was that of a woman. So enchanted by his beautiful, elegant, and graceful child, Elektra's loving father allowed her to be her authentic self and brought her up in the lap of luxury, heaped in jewels, the most fashionable clothing, the finest education, and so on. Early on, she knew that being beautiful and different came with its challenges, so her father made sure to prepare her with training in the martial arts. So she was left, when her father died, she was left with nothing but her belongings, as his wife and children had no love for her. Distraught and homeless, she gathered all her beautiful things and her dignity and left home in the hopes of finding something more, a life as grand and as beautiful as she was.
Nice. Little bit of a Cinderella kind of story, little bit of maybe a slightly different tale on that. Rebounding from the kick to the curb syndrome, certainly.
That's right.
So in the first time you played Elektra, you said you had played her as a bard.
Yes,
going along with that entertainer kind of thing. So let's talk about this version. She sounds like a very different character in Pathfinder than she did in D&D, and I'm excited to hear about it.
Well, I know this is role playing, but I do like the fighting aspect of it, and I want to delve more into the role-playing / fighting aspect of it. I don't want to just come in just stabby all the time. I want to be able to flesh out all the different things that we're supposed to ask and interact with the other characters versus just let's go in and kill everyone.
Right. It's affectionately known as murder hoboism. We're always on the move and we kill everything we come in contact with.
We kill everything. We don't ask questions. We don't find out the truth. We don't find out anything.
You know, honestly, the worst players I've encountered are the ones that are dying for story but can't stop from killing everything. And they're always wondering, like, how come we never know what's going on? Because you keep killing everyone who can tell you.
Right.
You know,
Right.
hold off just long enough and someone might fucking tell you something.
Right.
So that's awesome. That's awesome. So you did pick the entertainer background and the human half-elven heritage. So in Pathfinder 2, if you're a half anything, it's a heritage of the human ancestry, whether you're half orc or half elf. So you're a human, but you are the half elf heritage, and you've gone with fighter. Great choice, actually. Pathfinder is an incredibly rewarding system for fighters, and they get lots of choices to specialize the weapons you want to use and the type of fighting you want to do. Big weapons with both hands, 2 weapons, weapon and shield, like a bow and arrow, all kinds of options. You have tons and tons of just amazing options and all kinds of feats to make that happen. So that's super exciting. Our story is taking place in a part of the Pathfinder world, which is between 2 kingdoms. One is called Isgar, the other is Andoran. And Andoran is like this place where everyone's all about freedom, just freedom, patriotism, and freedom. You know, down with slavery, up with the patriots. Whereas Isgar is a little bit darker space. And do you see Elektra being from either one of these 2 kingdoms, or do you see her being from more of a far away, kind of been on the road for a long time, really far from home, or do you think she stays kind of close to her kingdom, or at least her heritage, even though she's not allowed to be part of it?
I was thinking that she's from a far, far place looking for that tribe that she wants to be a part of. That's difficult for her to be a part of because of her insecurities. I mean, she has this bravado that we can all see. Her stature, she's almost 7 feet. So, you know, I think that she's looking for something, love, maybe. We'll see. But
an introverted extrovert, always on stage, always on, but yeah, got it. Cool. Does she have any quirks or any weird kind of mannerisms or any things about her that the casual observer would notice just seeing her for the first time? And how does she present? How does she look? What kind of clothes does she wear? What's her coloration? Like, how does she present?
Well, because of the noble background, she's wanting to wear something of the finer, attire or whatnot, but not inhibited, so that she's able to move just in case.
Sure.
I'm thinking that also that she.
Hard to fight in a corset.
What?
Hard to fight in a corset.
That is correct. Well, she's already slim, thin as it is, so she doesn't need a corset. That's what she would say to you. But she would. I'm thinking she's from a faraway place, trying to look for her tribe, and that. I'm sorry, I got lost. What's your question?
I said, how does she present? What does she look like? What's her coloration? You said she's 7 feet tall. She's from noble birth, so she prefers and maybe always maintains a, if she can spend 2 gold on clothes, she'll spend 10.
Right.
Because that's her style. But at the same time, now that she is a fighter, she is likely spending her money to adorn her armor instead of dressing for court and for events and things like that. How do you see her as a fighter? How do you envision her as a fighter? Have you thought about, like, do you see her as being 2-weapon style, or someone who brings a really big weapon to bear with both hands, or as they call sword and board, which is a weapon and a shield, going for the more defensive route? Have you thought about how she might be bringing that to bear?
I was thinking balls to the wall with 2 swords, if that was, something.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. Totally within purview. And a really good package. You can easily set that up as a first level fighter. And you seem to be, you've set her up just looking at her stats. her strength and her dexterity are about equal. She's a good balance of both physical attributes and agility.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. You could easily pull some acrobatic stuff out of that as well. She could go for the heavier armor package for the big defense, or go for the lighter armor for the mobility and the stealth aspects of it. You know, you could go either way with that. And of course, the high charisma, because at the core of it, she is an entertainer. And even when she's not a fighter, she always falls back on her profession, her background as an entertainer. Get down. I'm excited to see her. So tell me, as we're, you know, doing our quick wrap up, tell me what you are most excited about being part of this group and being part of this experience. You kind of touched base on it before, but if you could expand on that, or if there's any other things that you wanted to kind of share with us, that would be outstanding.
I'm still a newbie when it comes to D&D or role playing as is. And so I'm just looking to expand my knowledge and my skill set on playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
Also, what you talked about in the last meeting about how this can be therapeutic, it really can. And I feel like once we get started, of course, we'll be playing the game, but I know on a personal level, we'll get to know each other, and, you know, there'll be some discussions that may be off the game, perhaps, and we can delve into that, whether it's social things happening around us or just in our personal life where we're looking for support, opinions. Yeah. I've noticed in my other group that's one of the more important things that I find gratifying, playing the game.
It is an interesting byproduct of the gaming group. There is a trust that's established and a bond that's established. And in some cases, you find friendships accelerating at a much faster pace because you're like, hey, we've been in the trenches together. We fought a beholder together. You know, you my bitch, come here, you know? So, yeah, you know, so I get it. I totally get it. So that's awesome. That's also what I'm looking forward to as well. And also, you touching on the therapy thing, that's super important. The trans help me out.
She is trans.
What's the word I'm looking for? Transmorphative. No, that's not it. God damn it, dyslexia. All right, we can just cut that part out. The therapeutic power of gaming, it has been obvious to all of us, and not everybody gets that from their games. And when I hear that, it shocks me. So part of the Azmyth Busters kind of credo is therapy for nerds, because we want those of you who aren't getting this out of your gaming, we want to show you how you can. We want to show you about session zeros and the social contract that's established, and the fact that it's okay to both be inclusive with everybody, but also to be vulnerable at the game table and shed who you are and be this other thing. And that's so important. So that's one of the things we're going to show. I'm really excited about it. I'm glad you're going to be part of this game, Jett. And in closing, anything you want to say to our audience before they see you in action?
As a brown person, I don't know too many actually in my circle, family or friends that are playing role-playing games. Get out there, find a group, watch us, see how fun it is, see how interesting it is, challenging it is, and Google it and follow it.
Google that shit. Like the video, subscribe, tell your friends. There's going to be weekly play episodes coming real soon. This is all just little teasers. And what we promise, we don't just tease, we fulfill. So we will see you soon. Thank you, Jett, and we will see you in session 0.
Thank you.